Stanley, Scuba, Sailing, and Adventures. I appreciate you being here with me to log an entry in the travel journal. If this is your first time, please hit that subscribe button. Today we'll be scuba diving St Kitts Brimstone Shallows. This is dive 6 in this 19-part dive series. To put that in a little more context, this is day 2, dive 2, but dive number 6 overall for the trip, and dive 6 in the 19-part series. And why I wanted to specifically call that out is if you've been following the dive series, then you'll know that this is the second dive on Brimstone Shallows. In fact, we had just an hour and 45-minute surface interval between this dive and our previous dive on Brimstone Shallows. If you watched that previous video, you noted that there were reef sharks and spotted eagle rays throughout the dive. In fact, the reef sharks followed us almost through the entire first dive. I'm not going to say, oh, wait and see if we see some reef sharks. This isn't that kind of channel. We didn't see any reef sharks on the second dive. And I'm mentioning that because you can dive the same dive site over and over, and it will be different every time. Right here, I turned around, and I normally cut that out, but I wanted you to see this massive reef and the river of fish behind me. And the best shot, there's another shot of the river of fish. I call it a river of fish, really. It's just a school of fish, but these blue Creole wrasse seem to move and look almost like rivers of fish to me when they go by. Back to my comment about the reef sharks. We didn't see any reef sharks on the second dive. I kind of kept an eye out because I don't like the feeling when sharks come up behind me without me knowing. It just makes me a little uncomfortable. So I found myself still not focusing as much down on the reef, and there's so much going on here. You can see it's very vibrant. There are a ton of fish down there. It's amazing to me how much coral formation there is here. It just seems to be layer upon layer. I see a 4-eyed butterflyfish and a rock hind that's probably going to take off any second. There he goes. I'm never able to get very close to those. And there he goes up further. Just amazing, all these different formations. And there are little canyons, obviously, down there. You could see that rock hind ducked in and then came out 3 or 4 feet in front of me. Here we have a pair of trumpetfish. The large one and maybe the smaller one behind it's a juvenile. We covered quite a bit of distance on this dive, and I don't recall ever seeing the edges of the reef. Here we see a couple of stoplight parrotfish. These are actually the same species, the one on the left and the one on the right. They're just at different stages of development. And then these 2 fish with the stripes, those are banded butterflyfish. Banded butterflyfish with the stripes there. They seem to always travel in pairs. And the fish in front of me with the red belly is another one of those stoplight parrotfishes in the intermediate phase. So much going on here. So you notice the particulate in the water, especially when I look across the reef, but you can see it here as well. I was curious about what that is or what that could be. So I used AI and asked a couple questions. And the response I got was that this is called marine snow. I've never heard it called that. I just refer to it as particulate because that's what I heard it referred to as in the world of underwater photography. But you can see these pieces look a little bigger than what I normally see. Anyway, AI referred to this as marine snow and said that it was most likely organic debris, tiny bits of dead plankton, fish waste, mucus from corals and other organisms, and decaying plant and algae material. Not sure I buy that 100%, so I did inquire and ask if there was some seasonality or seasonal pattern to that. And it responded and said yes, that there absolutely was, and that it would coincide with the time of year that I was here diving. So that being early spring. It said that that was because of early seasonal plankton increase, the water warming, sunlight intensity increasing, etc. So, again, not sure I completely believe that. If you work with AI or use AI a lot, you know that it's very confident in its answers. Whether it's right or wrong, it's very confident. I've heard it expressed as AI fails with confidence. Here we have another couple of four-eyed butterfly fish in front of us, and I'm assuming you can see those. They have a black spot near the tail, and again, I usually see those in pairs as well. Four-eyed butterfly fish. I'm curious about your work with AI and thoughts on AI and where you think the future will go with even like underwater videos like this. I'm sure AI could create a video that's much more visually appealing, but this is real. This is real life. Do you use AI? How do you feel about that? Would you rather see real life and hear a real guy just narrating imperfectly and talking about what comes to mind, or would you rather have an AI visual that's nearly perfect and some great story with voiceover that's incredible? If you're still watching this far into the video, I assume that you'd rather see the real thing. Here's the rest of our dive group. I'm usually never too far away from the dive group, and I don't often include the dive group in my videos. I'm not sure why, I just don't include a lot of other diver video, but I'm never too far from the group, usually. Some incredible sponges on this site as well. I didn't look this up, but I believe it's a form of a stovetop, or stovepipe rather, stovepipe sponge. And I saw here's another barrel sponge, and that black and yellow fish is called a rock beauty, and there it is. For whatever reason, I'm never able to get very close to rock beauties. I've tried to get pictures of them in the past, and you see this, I just can't get very close to it. And maybe it's that species, I don't know, but I feel like now it's a challenge. Like I need to try and get a picture or some good video of a rock beauty. I've gotten closer before and I've gotten some pictures, but nothing of quality in terms of photographs. Obviously, lots of sea fans on this dive site as well. I mentioned earlier that it was just an hour and 45 minutes between dives on this dive site. So let me give you the rest of the info around the dive metrics. The dive started at 10:50 in the morning and lasted just over 57 minutes. I recorded an average depth of 51 feet and a maximum depth of 72 feet. My dive computer reported an average water temperature of 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Every once in a while, someone will ask me what I think about when I'm diving. And honestly, I really don't think about anything. It's one of the few times and places in my life where things really slow down, and maybe that's why I enjoy it so much. There are no notifications down here. There's no noise. There's no rush. The only thing that really matters is breathing, and you don't really have to think about that. It's one of the few places that I'm totally at peace. And it's not even necessarily this beautiful environment. I enjoy diving just about anywhere, really. I've had plenty of time in what I would call test environments, and even in a pool, I could be happy just standing on my head, just sitting there underwater for a long period of time, close my eyes, and just relax and enjoy the feeling of being underwater. And maybe to a certain degree, too, it's that point where you get your buoyancy dialed in and you really are just truly weightless. I don't think I've ever really had an in depth conversation with another diver regarding what they're thinking when they're underwater. I guess I just assumed it's the same for everyone. Perhaps I need to have a video or something where I talk to other divers and ask them some questions and find out what's going on in other people's heads. Maybe they're similar. I think part of what I like about diving is the solitude. You're alone, but not really alone. I definitely like the fact that there's no talking underwater. I know they have systems now where you have that thing and you can talk, and there's an earpiece and you can talk to your dive buddy. I'm not sure I would enjoy that aspect of it. That would almost ruin diving for me. Maybe not totally, but I have no interest in underwater comms. Back to the dive at hand. So we are now headed down this little sand chute, and as you can see, the reef continues on both sides. I don't think I come anywhere near to see the end on either side. So these sand chutes, or I think of them as little sand rivers that run through the reef, are really good for navigation. In some places, they're almost straight, but this one curves a little bit. But anyway, they're really useful for navigation, and they occur in some reefs somewhat regularly. I don't know why they form, or why the reef is kind of built up on both sides. I guess that's something I should research and learn. But anyway, the little sand chutes or rivers are wonderful navigation aids or tools. So this fish laying in the sand, I'd never seen one of these before Grand Cayman. And if you've watched the Grand Cayman series, you will have seen this fish, and I identified it and talked about all the things about this fish. But really, a kind of a peculiar fish to me. They lay kind of on the sand and on their side. They're interesting, and They have like a big eye and just kind of a strange fish. Look at that, it just lays in the sand. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying the dive series, and I always enjoy comments, feedback. If you have any questions, leave me a message. I'll do my best to answer it. And I really appreciate you being here and watching the videos.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.